All right. So, it appears that things are finally getting back to normal. It's been relatively quiet around here lately, which is the way I like it. Things are getting back on schedule, and so finally we're going to be able to move on and cover some things that... Oh, for fuck. So I'm not going to really say a whole lot about the latest round of YouTube idiocy, where they now have revoked the use of end screens and cards from users who are not partners. And you now can't become a partner unless you have at least 10,000 views. So this shouldn't affect me because I'm already a partner, but it will affect a whole host of other channels. People just starting out, smaller channels who want to get into doing YouTube and building their brand. You may remember in the Age of Information video that I said you need to get in now because it will not last forever. And here you can see the window beginning to close a bit, making it harder for smaller channels to become larger. This is right on the heels of YouTube TV. YouTube is suffering from an identity crisis. It no longer knows who or what it is. It's trying to be another Netflix. It's trying to be another mainstream media outlet. And I predict it will fail. And it's not that difficult to predict that it will fail because it's trying to be what it is not. It no longer wants to be a site where anyone can upload their cat videos or whatever else they're filming. But when you're already established and you try to be something that you're not, that's when we see these big websites fail, just like MySpace. Everyone used to be on MySpace until they were taken over and they started making a lot of changes that nobody liked. But they wouldn't listen to their user base. They ignored them and everybody left the site. Those who ignore the lessons of history are doomed to repeat them. It reminds me that my girlfriend works at a top law firm, and a while back, they started doing things, changing policies and whatnot, copying off of other lesser law firms. And finally, she asked one of her bosses, one of the partners there, why are we copying off of all these other lesser law firms when we're the top law firm? Shouldn't they be copying off of us? If we're number one, that means we're doing it right. Why in the world would we ever want to copy off of someone who's not doing as well as us? It's the same with mentors, right? You look to see who's doing better than you are, and you do a bit of that. You don't ever follow or copy someone who's doing worse than you are. What would be the point in that? YouTube is the best at the premise it was built upon, letting average people upload and share their videos. If it insists on being what it is not, another Netflix or Hulu, it will jeopardize its own future. No site is too big to fail under terrible management decisions. MySpace has certainly proven that. Now, I just want to take a moment to say that I have never performed any magic to influence YouTube as a company. Now, I've done things to influence my own channel, but not YouTube itself. That may change very soon. The mistake has been I keep thinking that they're going to stop after every change they make, but it's becoming clear that they have no intention on stopping. So that's really all I'm going to say about that. Moving on. You know what I really love? I love testimonials. I love people writing in, sharing their success stories. And it just so happens I have one to share with you. A viewer wrote into me, "Hi Frater, I just wanted to say thank you for everything. I went from poor to not so much in 3 years, and everything you taught me has been awesome. I especially like the blank ritual." You just can't give everything away, all right? They're so simple. These things are so simple to do that just even mentioning them is almost giving it away. Oh man, I get phone calls to come pick up money usually before the 7 days are even up. Lol. I attached a video showing how I did it, and obviously the bank account statement picture is impressive. I never could have imagined the power we all have to forge our own destiny. I look at the world very different now. Have a great night. Now, the great part about this testimonial, as he said, he attached a video. And when I responded back to him, he attached another video. So you'll be able to hear his testimonial with his own voice. Now, the first video I got was a vertical camera phone shot, and when I converted it, the software rotated it 90 degrees. That's just the limitation of the software I have. I'm also editing out any time he starts to give things away. So if you want to know what he's talking about, you'll have to get the course. But let's hear what he has to say.
Hi, Frater. I've been following your stuff for about 3 years now. And especially after you give me this discount on this last one. I am so grateful for everything I ever get. But I figured I'd bring to your attention how the stuff that you've given me has worked. Like, for example, this is a sigil from your sigil course that I learned, basically saying that I would have $30,000 by this date, say, and I went through ritual, created that sigil, and then I waxed it together.
And he included a screenshot of his bank balance. And it's over $30,000, what he was asking for.
And then here I used the money thing in one of your money programs about. So everything's worked fantastically. And like I said, I really am grateful. Out of all the channels I've studied, yours was the only one that actually genuinely helped me. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Isn't that incredible? Being able to lift oneself out of poverty? I mean, I know he's thanking me, but all I did was show him how to use what he already had. The subconscious, the divine mind. But he did all the work and stuck with it to reap the reward. So I know you're thanking me. You're very welcome. But also make sure that you celebrate and reward yourself, because that's quite an accomplishment, my friend. Going from being poor to having some decent money in the bank, especially if you've always been poor, is no small feat. But that doesn't mean that it has to be hard. Quite the contrary. See, none of us were given a manual on life when we were born. No one taught us how to use our most valuable asset and tool, the subconscious mind. A litter of kittens were born on my patio about a month ago, and I would go out there and talk to them every day. And it's important for me to do this, otherwise in a couple weeks, they would be feral. Just small little interactions every day, especially before they even open their eyes, makes all the difference on whether or not that cat will be domesticated or feral. Friendly to people or afraid of people. That is subconscious programming. Now, when I come out on the patio, they come running to me. If I hadn't put the time in over the past month talking to them, they would be running from me. The slightest shift in the subconscious can make all the difference, whether it be a cat's life or your own. That's what Magick and my programs do. They show you how to make those shifts in your subconscious mind. And if you do the work and stick with it, you will see results. Now, this guy said he's been following me for 3 years. I don't know how much of that was spent actually doing the work, but he is seeing the results. He also sent a second video when I said that I was going to share this one. So let's take a look at that one, because this is too good.
Hi, Frater. This is basically an appreciation video for what you've taught me. In the amount of 3 years, I've gone from being poor to not so much at all. Of course, with all these things combined, it might appear that it was all coincidence, but that's how magic works, isn't it? Anyways, I was always after money and power, and I've achieved the first one. But I'd like to show you how I've done it, basically from what you taught me. So essentially, we understand that words have power. So I took a glass of water. Next, we have a sigil forged in, well, I sealed it with wax, but it's forged in blood and different colors with my intent. Like this one I wrote, I have $30,000 by this date, by this time. It was achieved. Next, have a bank book, and the way it was taught in one of your programs to seep into the subconscious. Next, we have the Nganga, which has the ingredients specified in your program, but I added a few different things to customize it to myself, like precious metals and different things. And I even went to a mine and got iron ore, which contains precious metal. I put that inside of this as well. And then of course, we stack magic around here. We don't leave anything to chance. So here I have the egg rituals. Like for example, this is Sunday. You can't really see it because it's yellow, but this is Monday's egg. You can see I'm halfway through this ritual. It's supposed to be purple because Monday is purple, but so I have my sigil with a thank you on the back. So I got Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, and then I'll be done that. And of course, I don't do anything unless the planets are aligned. I don't do a single thing without certain things coming into play to give me the best chance at winning. And like I said, I stack all my magic to give the best results. And then of course I have relics. This is a direct replica of the Great Pyramid of Giza, for it contains the golden ratio, and then of course white candles burning all the time. So there you have it. Fantastic. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you.
And many thanks to you for sharing your success story and testimonial. So he's doing a bunch of things that he learned from my programs, and he's seeing the results. Even so, for the amount of money that he's bringing in, it's not all that much work, is it? It doesn't have to be hard. People make it hard by being lazy. What it comes down to for everyone is whether or not the amount of work is worth it. Now, if this guy continues on the way he is, within a relatively short amount of time, he'll be earning six figures. We magicians are always upping our game. We're not going to be content at just $30,000. No, next time we're going to try doubling it. And our past successes give us the confidence for our future ones. We've gotten off the downward spiral, and now we're on the upward spiral. And once we do that, these great accomplishments aren't nearly as difficult as we thought they were. And some people, despite having laid it all out for them, still seem to have trouble with things. One such message made its way into my inbox. The money has to come from somewhere. If the money disappears from you-know-who and then goes to those who wish to be free from 9-to-5 job slavery, I see no problem with money magic. It gets redistributed when rituals are performed. You are encouraging people to obtain wealth, but this wealth doesn't just fall from the sky. Everything has a source. I hope in your case it's a source that deserves to be purged. Now, what's the first thing I teach in the Secrets of Wealth program? Getting your mind right. Getting in the correct mindset. This is not the correct mindset. This is a mindset of scarcity. And this is why you're having trouble manifesting money. Why are you worried about where the money comes from? While it's true that we do our best to open our avenues for the money to come in, that doesn't necessarily mean that it will use those avenues. We don't do magic and say, well, if the money doesn't come from this specific place, then I'm not going to be satisfied. Why are you concerned where the money comes from, how the money comes to you? These things are left to the divine mind, the subconscious. We can set parameters, but we don't want to be too restrictive. Now, if you're really concerned where the money comes from, you would set up a business and get it from your customers, who you provide valuable service to. That way, the money is given to you voluntarily, of their own free will, in exchange for value. And you're not taking it from anyone. What you're really doing is you're giving excuses. And that's fine if you need a reason to stay where you're at. And this particular excuse is evidence that you don't trust the subconscious. You don't trust the divine mind enough to manifest anything. That's the source you should be concerned with. The only real source that matters. Perhaps unsurprisingly, this message came from our old buddy, Mr. Scarcity. You may remember him. And it appears that he is still within that limiting mindset. Now, I don't want to single him out without a reason, and that reason is I want to show that some people you just can't help, no matter how much you try. I want to show the difference between those who are willing to take action and those who make excuses for their inaction. Those who are willing to trust the subconscious, the divine mind, and adopt a mindset of abundance, and those who insist on staying in scarcity. Those who want to be on the upward spiral instead of being on the downward spiral. And it's all up to you. Is it worth it to you to put in a little bit of work to reap massive reward? I think it is. It's certainly better than the alternative. Just a reminder that the laws of magic, the seventh cycle, is now open for enrollment and will launch on October 23rd. Sign up now to reserve your place, for it may be the last time it's made available. The series runs for one lesson a week for an entire year, and once again will launch on October 23rd. And that will about do it for today. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.